Hey everybody, today we're going over sideline hip internal rotation. I really like this variation of work on internal rotation because it allows you to work on hip IR in a position that it is most important and often lacking, which is in hip extension. So normally, let's say we normally work on internal rotation from, let's say, like a 90-90 position here. Well, in this position, my hip is technically it's not inflection. My hip is kind of inflection but I'm definitely in abduction right here, right? So my hip's not necessarily in just hip extension. There's kind of like this weird thing going on where I'm kind of in inflection and abduction occurring simultaneously. So this is a great way to work internal rotation, but this is not raw hip extension. This is closer to raw hip extension, but still not as, the transfer isn't as perfect as I would like it to be. I don't really know how else best to convey. It's not the way I want it to be, except saying it's not as perfect. Because it's a great way, but just not as good as it can be. So, to work on hip IR while in hip extension, how do we do it? We're going to be sideline, and you might be wondering, John, why are you looking like a model on the beach? And that is because I'm getting ready to show you guys how to do hip IR. So, I'm here. I'm going to crush this sandbell. You can use a yoga block, a foam roller, foam roller. You can use a yoga mat, whatever you like to use, whatever works best for you. My legs are relatively straight. That's a natural bend. I'm going to crush this sandbell and lift my foot off into internal rotation as hard as I can. If you want to make sure this is happening from the muscle we're looking for your TFL, tension fasciae latae. It is right here on top of your hip. So if you take your hand, start at your knee, and you're going to trace it up like you're acting real sexy, you're going to touch your hip right here. And here I can feel my femur bone, attaching right here in the hip socket, being rotated by the muscle that sits right here. So my hand is right, the hip bone is here. My hand is right below my hip bone on the muscle I'm looking for right here. So squeeze this, lift up as high as you can, boom, internal rotation and hip extension. I'm just going to do this and let that work. Internal rotation, guys, very important for hip extension and even for alleviating low back pain. So this exercise could be very good for you. Show you guys from a slightly different angle. You can see behind me. Here, lay down, knee slightly bent, hand on hip, on the muscle I'm looking for. Boom. More hip internal rotation than I've ever had before, just by working on this exercise, guys. Yeah, team, that is sideline hip internal rotation. Great way to work on internal rotation while in hip extension. So if you're someone who needs to jump higher, someone who wants a more powerful power clean, someone who wants to be better at most athletic endeavors, because most athletic endeavors involve hip extension, improving your hip internal rotation will help you do that. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this exercise. If so, hit that thumbs up button. If you have questions about this exercise or any other on the channel, definitely throw them in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.